we know from the work of a scholar named Julie Manella that we individually learn preferences for the types of foods and the types of spices that our mother eats that are a lot of times culturally anchored. And so
like flavors,
there's
flavor preferences.
Food critics or foodies will talk about the terroir, right, of a food that reflects how it was grown and where it came from and how it was processed before it makes it to your plate. Well, there is that same feature of breast milk that reflects the mother.
So if the mum's eaten a certain type of food, then the baby's more likely to also eat that food, because I guess it's the type of food that would be in his local environment.
Right.
There would be an advantage to that.
Yes, and a lot of it has to do with like things like, you know, preferences for garlic or these really strong things that pervade, like spices, herbs, the different kinds of, it might not be down to like, I like spinach because my mom ate spinach when I was breastfed. It more might be like the leafy greens are more palatable because I was exposed to leafy greens. So the precision level, I think, is the science remains to be done.
Yeah.
But the cultural anchoring via breast milk is incredibly exciting.
Well, that was another key, I think, thread through your presentation, that we're really just at the beginning. This fluid that we talk about, and you use nice terminology. It is a food, but it's also alive. It's a signal. It's medicine.
Yes.
And we're really just on the cusp of starting to explore that whole concept.
It's astonishing the extent to which studying mother's milk has not been a funding or scientific priority. I think in part because people have taken it for granted, and so this incredibly complex fluid has been hiding in plain sight, and really is calling out for sustaining and expanding the research that's going on. I mean, the research that's been done in milk is incredible. It's informed us in so many ways that it's really the tip of the iceberg.
Yeah.
It lets us know we need to make this one of our big priorities. How can we be optimizing lifelong health if we don't know about the first substance a mammalian infant has been evolved to consume? And that right there is a huge challenge for clinicians that want to give evidence-based advice for developing interventions for fragile babies and neonatal intensive care units. This is, I think, hopefully something that we'll see continue to expand as we have in the last few years.
Well, because I feel the breast that is an organ, it does not kind of gain the same respect as other organs of our body.
You know, this is something that I talk about quite a lot. Is people oftentimes, when they're messaging about breastfeeding, they'll talk about how breastfeeding is free. And
is it free?
It's only free if you place no value on women's time and energy, which we know from culture history has been an eternal struggle.
Well, we don't have to go there.
Yeah, we do.
Okay, please feel free.
That's something that I think, who sets funding priorities? Right. What do they look like? What are their concerns? And who doesn't set funding priorities? Right.
Yeah.
And so we find that mother and infant health has not received the due diligence of research effort that we need in order to deliver on global public health.
So what does it mean to be alive, this fluid? Human milk being alive.
Right.
What does that mean?
It means that there are living things in it. So, right. And those things are microbes. So microbes that...
So it's got bacteria in it.
It's got, yes. People, I think of bacteria as a bad thing. But we now understand that many of these microbes have co-evolved with us and actually do a number of incredibly cooperative, beneficial things. Yeah. They help us digest our food. They help us fight our pathogens. They help entrain our immune system. And we now understand that mother's milk helps to feed and colonize beneficial microbes within the infant's intestinal tract. Milk's also alive in that we now understand that stem cells from the mother are passing to the infant through milk, and some of these are assimilating within infant tissue in exciting ways.
So, lactation or breastfeeding, I mean, really, you could see it as the fourth trimester, right? What do you think about that? I hear it popping up, but people do think that the development of the infant is now separated from mother as soon as it comes out.
Right.
Right?
And you see this all in the literature that people talk about physiological investment prenatally during fetal life and behavioral care postnatally. But as mammals, we know that physiological investment continues into that postnatal period, and it's tricky for me to think of it in terms of trimesters because pregnancy is 39 weeks, and World Health Organization recommendations for breastfeeding is exclusive breastfeeding for 6 months.
Yeah.
Would be 2 trimesters.
Okay.
And continued breastfeeding for up to 12 to 24 months.